How's it going? My name is Otterdash, and I honestly just wanted to show off a game that I've really been enjoying lately. But I wouldn't get used to the silence. It's not staying. This somber little melody will be the only amount of silence that you hear all game. For the rest of this game is pure hell. Welcome to ULTRAKILL. ULTRAKILL is a fast-paced movement shooter that really tries to define itself based on how much gore you can create, and I mean that genuinely. The motto of the game is blood is fuel. A literal meaning because you regenerate from killing things, but we're not quite there yet. First, we need to learn the basics. Like all good demons, we have to punch our way out. Except this demon knows advanced movement, and can also slide. And from there, we learn the air dash, a really vital, important part of the game. Movement techs go crazy in this game. You're going to be able to go as fast as you want, especially when you can bounce around walls like this. With that, the intro of the game starts. We thank New Blood for all their givings. We thank Akaita for everything he has given us. And we say hello to the pistol. And we're right back where we started. For this video, I'm going to be talking about my experience with the first layer, or rather the prologue layer, Cerberus, the entrance to hell. To explain the prologue is to explain the lore of ULTRAKILL. So we have to start at the beginning, or rather, the end of all things. The Holy War, the war between angels, demons, and humanity. So obviously, ULTRAKILL takes place in hell, but this is long after humanity has gone extinct. Humanity destroyed itself through war and corruption, self-inflicted collapse, and it left behind only blood. But machines, they learned to adapt off of running on blood. Driven entirely by an instinct, blood is fuel, fuel is survival. That is your only motivation to descend deeper into hell, deeper into Cerberus, the first layer. Layers, layers, I keep saying layers. To explain what I mean by layers, we have to go back to Dante's Inferno, a classic comedy, which is just a story about the layers of hell. See, this isn't true religion, this isn't true Christianity, this was just a story that became so popular, people believed it was true. Now, the story is not important. What's important to know is that Dante's Inferno believes in a layered hell, a hell that genuinely is layered, stacked one on top of another, of each sin going through one by one. This game follows the route of limbo into lust, to gluttony, to greed, into wrath, followed by heresy, violence, fraud, and treachery. But all at the beginning, you have the gates to hell itself, a very barrier trying to stop you, V1, from entering hell and taking and consuming all of its blood. Cerberus, the first layer. Now mind what I told you earlier. Blood is fuel. This is a thing that became known throughout the world. Look around at the surroundings of hell. It's a machine. The entirety of this place is used to harvest the blood and suffering of its victims. Your role as V1 is to take it all away. Along the trip through hell, you'll only find about 3 types of residents. First, there are the husks, most of the enemies that you see me fighting right now. There are also demons, more corrupted versions of the husks. They've just been there longer and they're corrupted by an angel, the third type of being. So, thematically, we have a machine serving a purpose that he'll never ever see the light of day for people that don't exist anymore, and endless hunger that can never be satiated, and faith that will never lead to anything. This is all told through the game through terminals, boss dialogues, and environmental storytelling. In short, a post-human world machine descending through a dark, reimagined Dante's hell where angels, demons, and forsaken souls linger and decay, and everything revolves around blood as survival and sin as identity. This leads us to our first boss, Swords Machine. In short, honestly, he's you, but worse. He's a worse version of you. But he's also been waiting on a fight. Swords Machine, once a weapon of humanity's war era, like V1, is a machine fueled by blood, but instead of guns and cannons, its body has been completely modified for melee combat. Its hands are replaced by long, jagged blades, and all it does is pressure you with these heavy, heavy melee combos. Unlike V1, who only acts on hunger or instinct, Sword Machine appears to have developed a sense of pride with his attacks. Its obsession, its entire existence, revolves around fighting with blades. In a world full of bloodthirsty machines and damned souls, Sword Machine is unique because it only fights like a duelist, not with hunger. And honestly, its persistence is really commendable. Rather than taking an L, Sword Machine's repeated appearances, and yeah, they are repeated, he doesn't ever really lose. It implies that he doesn't die. When he gets defeated, he just retreats, rebuilds himself, and comes back better, hoping that the fight goes different the second time. Swords Machine is just meant to be your mirror. Where you're gonna be the perfect being with guns, Swords Machine is just gonna beat you all day with blades. That's his purpose. It's agile, it strafes constantly, and it's designed for close quarters combat and precision dueling almost only. It blocks bullets with its sword, which implies that it has some sort of intelligence about your attacks. Its attacks are constantly flashy and completely committed, like a warrior that lives for battle. There are many types of bosses in this game like that. And I know I mentioned that this layer was called Cerberus, but I lied. We're in the first layer of Limbo. It's not classed as Limbo, but the prologue does serve as part of Limbo. Limbo is known as the layer in between. Think of it as like the border in between the human world and hell. Things are going wrong. Things are leaking through, and V1 is here to stop it. But not because he wants to, because he needs the blood. Back to our second duel with Swords Machine. He's a little more insistent this time. But you have to understand, this level is literally called One Machine Army. Swords Machine is a reflection of V1. His whole purpose is to stop V1 from getting the blood. By defeating Swords Machine, V1 proves it's strong enough to descend deeper. It's essentially Limbo's first and final exam to V1. The duel is a rite of passage, and Swords Machine isn't gonna go down easy. Even if he's at 1 health, he can turn the table. But V1, if anything, is a machine that is about consistency. V1 wins wars. He was made to win wars. That's all he does. Adapting to something like Swords Machine might take time, but once V1's got it figured out, he knows where to land his punches, he knows where to shoot you, it's probably over. V1 needs the blood, but honestly, I'm not sure it matters. It's said that the Swords Machine is bound to hell. That even if killed, it'll probably just come back. Like the husks before him, Swords Machine may be spiritually anchored to the layer it inhabits, a machine cursed to fight eternally. This is a fun clip I left in to prove that almost anything in this game can be parried, including your own chainsaws. It's really fun. You can use it to do stuff like this. After the Swords Machine, you can pretty much guess that the rest of this layer is a cakewalk. It just gives you a bunch of time to play with the weapons that you figured out, times to figure out how to parry, time to figure out how to move around, and it floods you with enemies to try to make you feel stressed. And overall, that's going to be the entire point of the game. The entire point of the game is to feel as stressed as possible. It just wants to send as many enemies as it can at you as fast as it can, and it will reward you. The faster you swap weapons, the faster you're able to use weapon abilities, and the faster you're able to parry. So much so that the game's performance evaluation actually evaluates you based on how many enemies you killed, how fast you went, and how many weapons you used, followed by their abilities. The robot has almost endless capabilities, but it's up to you to be able to utilize them and turn it into something greater. Finally, with our weapons mastered, our abilities mastered, and the ability to punch things to death, we make our way to the end of Cerberus, where he himself, Cerberus, waits for us to fight. Cerberus is based on mythology, particularly the Guardian of Hades. but they reinterpret it here. In the lore terminals, Cerberus is described as sentinels built to protect the gates, meaning they're part of Hell's infrastructure, rather than being a demon itself. You can see this through his design. Why did they make him a statue? Cerberus isn't fleshy, like demons or husks. It's carved stone and gilded metal. It suggests that it was deliberately crafted, not a natural demon, but a constructed one, possibly by Hell itself, or even Heaven. And this is not the only Cerberus you fight in this game. There are multiple spread out throughout the game, implying that they're mass-produced guardians, like recurring pillars of Hell's order. But all in all, it doesn't really matter when you're fighting against a demon that feeds itself on your own blood. I'd argue that V1 is possibly the most demonic thing in the game, and it makes me love him. Anyways, that was the intro to ULTRAKILL. If you're interested, please buy the game. If you liked the video, please subscribe.